I created that thumbnail way before. Oh. What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have Mr. Phillip Russertt on the show. He's going to be talking to us about his new Kickstarter, new project, Tragedy, issue number 4. We're going to be talking to him about that coming up next.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the Dreamer, Medina, and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are live. It is Wednesday, September 7th. Michael Sanmartino's in the house. Big shout out to you and your project.
Yes, official sponsor of Catch the Craze podcast.
Oficial. But yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming on. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the link. Hit the like button, comment, all that stuff. So that when we go live, you know. Like today, for example, where we're live with Mr. Phillip Russertt. We're going to be talking to him about Tragedy, issue number 4.
Word.
This man's got, he's just doing his thing. He's just doing his things. What he does. So we're going to be talking to him.
A lot of things.
Book. And but yeah, brother, we got another live show. We're off tomorrow morning, guys. I know you're gonna miss us. Tomorrow is would have been the morning brew with the Crazy Crew, but we are off tomorrow. Sam's going to take a hike.
Yes,
he's out.
Pa carajo,
bro. Yeah, you're gonna be out in the mountains, right? Where you going? Where you going, Sam? You want to let the people know, or you keeping it on the low so they don't?
I'll be at the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon. Right.
Yeah, I got my squad house sitting while I'm at the Grand Canyon. So they flew in from New York, watching the house and watching the dogs while I'm away. But yeah, my wife and I, 25-year wedding anniversary, heading over to the Grand Canyon, kid.
Sam, how has she done it? 25 years. That woman is a saint.
Yo, she's a saint. She scored, bro. She scored.
Really? Yeah.
This is puro, bro. This is
puro. That's pura miet. Oh, hey, easy.
Puro. This is pure lusciousness.
Oh God, man. Yeah, listen, she is. I'm telling you, I bet that. I don't know how she does it. I know she does it.
She knows what's up. She locked it down, Pelican Bay, said clink, 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 clink.
I know. I think you might have locked her down. Unfortunately, poor woman.
Said, let's go. Vámonos, contaminos.
Bravo knows. Nah, but that's cool, man. Congratulations. 25 years. That's a long ass time.
That's right.
I got a table at the Grand Canyon. Oh man, yeah, man. So that's going on. But What's going on in the creative world, Sammy? What you got going on? Listen. What do you got? 13 days? 2
13
weeks?
days before the launch of There's an Alien in My Toilet. And thank you to 124 of you who have signed up for the launch of this campaign. This is the biggest and best one yet. It gets funnier. Duty finally meets human beings. He gets to a house. It's a Chihuahua named Herman who thinks he's a talking jalapeno. It pops off from that point on. There's the government tracking down the crash site for the UFO. It's going down. Then there's Duty's Monsters on Planet Cthulhu. This is a stretch goal that, if unlocked, you can add it on as an add-on to your basket, and you get this. I just finished this book. I just sent it off to get proofs. I sent it off to Comic Wellspring, so I'm hoping to have the proof for the live launch. That's a 24-page issue. It's issue 1 of 3. It's a miniseries, and it's the first book that I've done in over a decade from start to finish all by myself, from lettering to coloring to inking to everything, drawing everything. I'm really happy with this because when I came back, Forbidden was drawn by somebody else. The books were colored by somebody else. Catch the Crazies was drawn by somebody else. So this is the first time that it was like all done. So I'm excited about this, and I'm hoping that you all come along for the ride because this one's gonna be good. May I ask, on the launch date, are we getting no, that was too much work. I think his father thinks that Duty's in good hands. So
He gave up on him. He gave up on him. He said, "Yo, keep him. Yeah, I can keep Duty. We're good."
But if you notice, they're still watching. You see it in the back? I
Still
always
watching.
feel like somebody's watching me. Don't you see him? Can't get no privacy. Oh, whoa. So they were still watching. You see that green head in the back? But it's gonna be a live launch. But again, so when we launch on the 20th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Catch the Craze podcast, if we're funded during the live launch, there'll be a raffle for a painting, an original painting by me of Duty as one of the characters that you've just been watching me draw in the live stream, and a t-shirt as well. So it's gonna be, it's pretty awesome to all. What's up, buddy? ASAP in the house. So I'm excited about that. I can't be more. It's funny. For those of you who picked up was down with the Crazy Comics back in 2003, 2005, you know that the spinner. I have the electric spinner. All right.
Yeah, he won't let me use that one.
No, that was the
He's
breaking.
greedy with it. He's greedy with it.
He's greedy with it.
But you know what?
Every time he spins it, it breaks. It's like,
Hey, that's part of the fun. It's part of the fun. People wait to see when will it break. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. Break this. So what was I saying? Oh yeah.
I don't.
If you were down with Crazy Comics back in the days, you know that my first comic ever produced was Cosmic Wars. So there's a surprise cameo from the star of Cosmic Wars in this series as well. So it's gonna be fun. It's fun. I had so much fun doing this, and I'm hoping that it translates and with everybody who comes along for the ride. So, and then I got something really exciting for the kids. So this is going to be an all-encompassing fun time. And if you're in October, if you're in Texas, come and see me at the Dallas Fan Festival, which is run by Fan Expo. In fact, I just got my table assignment over there and everything, so that's pretty dope. And that'll be the second week in October, and then the third week in October, I'll be at Cowtown Comic Con. In fact, the promoters from Cowtown are going to be on Catch the Craze in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be a good interview. So a lot of good stuff happening. And thank you to in the past 2 days, we had 4 new subscribers. So thank you to the 4 new subscribers to Catch the Craze podcast. We appreciate you. And only one has your name visible. Spider, thank you. We appreciate you. Everybody else is private accounts, so I can't give you a shout out, and I can't put you in for raffles if your accounts are private. So if you want to just unprivatize, we can put you in raffles when we do our raffles.
Good stuff. Yes. Also, that was a lot.
That was
mucho.
Yes.
So, and I wanted to give a big shout out to one of our watchers right now, Mr. Paul Hayden, who's with ASAP Imagination. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are working with Paul on a project that's coming out. It will be coming out hopefully sometime next year. We're working on it now. Yep. And it's a project called Animatronics. And it's an interesting project because it is being written by 10 different people. It's going to be, so that would be a 100-page comic. being written by 10 different people. And what's happening is basically Paul started off, he's writing 10 pages. Then on Saturday, actually this Saturday at 3 p.m. on his Instagram. So you guys want to follow ASAP Imagination on Instagram, go on there. He's going to be pulling out the name of the next writer to write the next 10 pages of the anthology. It's going to be it could be anyone between Angus Day, L.A. Cunningham, Chess, D.W. Howard, myself, Sam is involved, Lucy Shaw, Dre, the Brute Daniels, Endless Mile Studios. They're all involved. So this Saturday, he's going to pull a name out of a hat.
They sound like names for acts for a club that's going to perform it.
Yeah, Jay the Brute Daniels.
Jay the
Endless Mile Studios. That's dope right there. Jay the Brute. Yeah, you know what? He should have put Sam the Crazy Man Vera, George the Dreamer Medina up in there. Oh, what up, D-Wade?
Yes.
Long time no see, my friend. But yeah, so that's happening on Saturday. This book is going to be, we're going to write it. We're writing it now. I read the first 10 pages that Paul wrote. Awesome stuff. I spoke to him today. It looks great. Can't wait to see who's next. Sam, what are you going to do next? You ready?
I won't know till Monday because I'm going to be away till Monday.
I'll text you. I'll send you a quick text.
I'll start writing on Monday. It's probably it's always gonna be that way. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Sam ain't gonna start writing on Monday. What is it? 2 weeks? Sam's gonna start writing the day before it's due back in. I know how you roll.
Yo, why you hating on me, brother? Yo, shade.
It's no
like Slim Shady. Yo,
it's facts.
Yo,
I'm actual and factual, bro. It's actual and factual.
Calling the brothers from the hood. Go over there.
No,
give me your address. Just text them your address.
But yeah, no. So it's gonna be cool, man. So basically, so that's how it's gonna work. You write 10 pages, the next person gets pulled out of the hat, and boom, they write the next 10 pages. So that's going to be fun. And then we're also going to have 10 different artists that are going to be drawing the pages. So it's an interesting project. It's an interesting, a little something that we're doing. Also, just so everyone knows, all proceeds for this book will go to charity. Paul has partnered up with Free Arts NYC. And Free Arts NYC empowers youth from underserved communities through art and mentoring programs to develop their creativity, confidence, and skills to succeed. FreeArtsNYC.org is the organization that all proceeds, all sales made on this book will go to them. So that's some awesome stuff. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be talking about it as the weeks progress and as the project progresses. So Animatronic coming up.
Yes. And we do have another sponsor of Catch the Craze podcast. On top of Tech the Gods, we have Story Comic. Story Comic is a podcast that focuses on people behind the words. The host, Bonnie Smith, interviews comic creators of all types and their works and tells stories about comics, comic-based stories, and all other forms of pro storytelling. We've been streaming our show online since late 2019, and it's been amazing to see how many people around the world have come to appreciate and the value of hearing stories from people who are just as passionate of their work as we are. So if you're a comic creator yourself, or you know someone who is, or you just want to hear about your favorite comic book and how it got made, come check us out at storycomics.com, storycomic.com. Yes, so thank you, Bonnie Smith, for sponsoring Catch the Craze podcast. Thank you, Tech the Gods, for sponsoring Catch the Craze podcast.
Yeah. Also, don't forget that I have an interview on another podcast called The Very Occasional Podcast with Mr. Morgan Quaid, and that's out right now. So check out his podcast, The Very Occasional Podcast, on YouTube. Search that up. It'll be on my website. You can go to getyourmeds.com. You can go to my Instagram and check that out. Pick up a book, pick up some t-shirts, and all that stuff. But who do we have? So do we have Phillip in the waiting room yet?
Yes, we do. Phillip, he's been waiting anxiously. He's ready to get tragic on us. He's ready to bring the drama. Yeah, he's gonna bring the pain. He's from Manila. I mean, he's killing the campaign. He's got 23 Ds to go. He's got 131 backers, 5,400 in. The guy's on fire. So he's gonna be bringing him back. He's a return guest. He's gonna be talking all about tragedy.
Yeah, but we have a little chatter. Michael San Martino, when is the next 4 Horsemen episodes or a draw-off show? Good question. We got to find that 4th horseman. I don't know where he's been.
4th horseman is the hard part.
That's a toughie.
Yeah, now that Johnny's a working man, it's hard to get him locked, to hold him down.
Yeah. We got to get that draw off, the part 2. The part 2 has to
Part
come
2
out.
draft. That's
Yes. And Paul, of course, man, of course, this is going to be a good time. And Barney is a good dude. You're absolutely right.
Yes,
Should we bring in another good dude?
Yes, we're gonna
to the
bring in
show?
our guest. He's rating. I don't have the drum roll anymore, do I? No, I don't think I have the
Oh,
drum roll anymore. But
man.
we're gonna bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, Phillip Russertt.
You said good. You said good, dude. I was
You pick this the Superman back there. A little
yeah, you know,
Superman
while I was
action figure.
backstage, I was reading about wonder ducks and aliens and toilets. It was a good read, man. I was enjoying myself. So
Welcome back, Phil. How you doing, my man?
good, man. Honestly, I say it all the time, but you guys are probably my favorite hosts to hang and chat with. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
Thank
man. Anytime,
You're
anytime.
kind
my
of
friend.
sweet,
Like,
bro.
oh, we're so busy. Come on, man. Come on, please.
Oh man. Hey, listen, Phil. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure meeting you in person.
I think you're getting rid of me.
Oh, dude, I was like, why? I asked J.M. DeSantis, big shout out to J.M. DeSantis, who I was sharing the table with. I was like, yo, is there any way we can move our table? Like, is there anything we can do to move our table? Nah, man, it was fun. It was a good time. We had a good time, and it's always nice. It's weird because we had never met before. We've done we've done a couple of shows, and for those watching, we had Phillip on the show, episode 285. That was June 1st of last year, Phil. Oh, wow. That's how long ago it was. So that was the last time you were on the show.
You're so freaking busy. You don't have time for us little guys.
And you were promoting number 1. You were promoting this bad boy right here. This bad boy right here.
Yeah, look
number
at you.
1.
And signed. Look at that.
That's right.
Yeah.
I never sign my books because what the hell is my signature worth? And then some people are glad I don't, and some people are like, why didn't you sign it? I'm like, because I'm a nobody. What the hell you want me writing on a book for?
There's number 3. There's number 3.
John,
yeah, we have. Listen, I have questions. I have questions about the story. I can't wait to dive into it. But for those who
I'm not
maybe
worried about spoilers anymore. We're 4 in. If you haven't picked it up yet, tough shit.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, are you okay with some spoilers here? Because there are some spoilers. The last issue, especially big spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, I have to at this point. If I'm gonna sell the book and get people interested, I can't keep saying, "Oh, it's an Irish assassin. Come check it out." You gotta get into the meat of it, right? So
do it.
Sorry if we ruined it for you, but you should have jumped on 4 issues ago.
They still can.
See, he gave you pow pow. That's it. Smack them the hand. Smack them the hand.
That's it.
Shame on you.
Hey, listen, the Irish assassin in Hell's Kitchen is kind of cool, man.
You know, the funny thing is, people like Hell's Kitchen, it's Daredevil. No, that's where the Irish Mafia actually worked out of. The Westies are the Irish Mafia, and in the 1970s and the very early 80s, before Jimmy Cooney and them were taken out, is where they operated. So that's just factual history.
There you go. Now, I don't know. I mean, I was listening to our last podcast, and you mentioned your dad kind of knew some people.
He didn't work with them.
No, he didn't work.
But he knew them, and he was just always cordial. You know, hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Yeah, that's it.
So it's based on fact. It's like you said, it's based on fact. Like you kind of knew about that that existed back in the day. But yeah, listen, New York. I mean, how many more areas in New York are you gonna write? What are you gonna write about? Like it's New York City.
Well, the funny thing is, we're in Chinatown, Little Italy, we're all over the place because there's different mafia factions. So it's all over Manhattan. We're in China. And
yeah, what's crazy is that I hung out in all those places, right? Never really.
China too?
Yeah. And I never really experienced the mob.
As tall as he is, they were like, Jesus.
I know what I meant. I met you and you said I didn't think you were that tall.
Dude, I'm 6'1". I met him and I was like, "Oh my god, what the hell, man? He must slink down his chair to be George's size." George
I got
11, right?
Yeah, that's good.
George is like normal man height, and then we get to like Beanstalk. I think there's like a golden egg on his head or something.
Golden egg.
It is tall.
Everybody says that when they meet me, but it's funny. The only experience I ever had with like mob related stuff was the Chinese. I think it was the triads. I didn't have experience, but I seen them in action. But I was like, oh, these guys look, yeah, I'm going the other way. Because we used to hang out in Chinatown because they used to have these great what is it called? Sweet and sour buns. Roast pork buns. Oh
Yeah,
man, we
roast
should go
pork
just for
buns.
that. It was delicious. But anyway,
Yeah,
but
I'm always up
yes.
for buns.
Hey. So what you've been up to since the last time we spoke?
Oh man.
How long is this show?
Oh man.
I mean, I do Legendary Illustrations where I'm an art rep, getting guys work. I've got Tragedy. I've got the Dynamics coming out. I've got 3 other books being written. Breath of the Dragon's going to have a one shot, maybe a mini series, and we'll go from there. I've got a prose book, a short story book that is just about ready to go. J.M. DeSantis is the editor. He's the man.
Nice.
And I got plans for monthly or bi-monthly distribution. I'm not. I'm hungry, guys,
Yeah.
and I got a belly for a reason. I keep eating.
Keep eating. Keep eating.
That's it, man.
So Phil, I want to talk a little bit about your creative process. I know you're a busy guy. I know you're always creating. You're always writing. Tragedy, for example. Right now, I know that you wrote that in February last year.
26 issues I got written.
You have 26. So the last time, so when we spoke last, right, in June or whatever, I know that, but in February you created it in February of last year, and then by the time we spoke to you, you had written 16 issues, right? Talk to me about your writing process, dude. How are you cranking these scripts out so fast?
So here's the funny thing, and by no means am I going to imply that I'm some amazing writer. That's up to you to decide when you read the book. Read the book. So honestly, I was always a storyteller. Like I used to watch my friends' kids when I was younger, going in college and stuff, and I used to just tell these stories, just right off the top of my head. I don't pressure myself. I sit down. I kind of have an idea of what I want to happen in the issue, and I just write. I don't think. I just write, and it just flows naturally. I do think, and I don't mean this arrogantly, but I do think a strong suit of mine is writing realistic dialogue.
Right.
Which is important. So I write kind of an amalgamation of the Marvel way and a more detailed way. If everybody knows the Marvel way, it's kind of just describe what's going on in the panel for the artist and you throw the dialogue in later. I don't like to do that. I don't feel comfortable with that. What I do is I'll write the scene, I'll write the dialogue, and if there's a specific shot I want, like a 90 degree over the right shoulder or something like that, I'll put it in there. Or I like to describe the choreography because I like to do different kinds of fights. But I'll also be like, next 6 pages, sword fighting, have fun with it as an artist. I don't really do dialogue a lot during fights because I've been in over 60 fights in my life and never have I spoken tea and crumpets with anybody. Sorry. It's, I know it's comics, but I try to make a little more realism in this. There may be some inner thoughts or monologues, but there's not a lot of talking in fights. But I just write, and wherever it goes, and then I'll put it down. I'll have my wife look at it. I'll look at it a day or two later, and 9 out of 10 or 9.9 out of 10 times I'm good to go, or I'll just change a word or a phrase here or there that I think maybe didn't sound right. But I don't pressure myself. Writers used to hear professional writers say, I don't write for the fans, I write for myself. And I used to think, well, what kind of ego is that? And like, you don't care about the fans. That's not what they were saying. What they're saying is you can't please everybody. And if I write thinking about what every individual may like, I'm going to write crap. All I can do is write from what I know and what I enjoy and hope that you all like it too.
Do you have like a page number in mind? Like, do you say, okay, it's been 24 pages. Oh shoot, I'm at 26. I may need to cut something down. Do you have a page limit, or do you kind of just write until
because as an indie, I don't need to, and I think that hinders stories. I don't write for trade paperbacks. That's killing Marvel and DC, in my opinion. And I don't write for page count. Now I understand the need to write for page count with big publishers, but I don't. I'm me. I can do whatever the hell I want. And I'm of the mindset of certain rules you kind of go with, but not all of them. You got to be a trendsetter. You got to do your thing. And if
Mhm.
like my first book's 30 pages, second one's 28, third one was 36. That's what the story said. That's
Mhm.
what came out of me. That's where it needed to go, and that's it. And I like to leave with cliffhangers every issue.
Right, right.
And people are telling me that I'm pretty good at cliffhangers, so that's a compliment. Um, and you don't want to rush it to that cliffhanger.
Right.
So I don't want to do a page count.
How do you handle your pacing? Because you're right. I know that you're just writing. Are you mapping it out in any way? Do you have notes that you're taking somewhere that you kind of know where the beats of the story, or is it just like literally all free flowing? Like, are you just like off the top of the head, like reading Biggie over here?
First of all, thank you, Annabelle. Annabelle, I appreciate that very much. So, um, it's weird. Like I just go in and I write and I write and I write, but it sparks ideas as you're writing for what will come up, right? So I've created characters and plot lines in my head loosely.
Hmm.
As far as when I'm going to hit those, it really depends on how the flow of what I wrote goes. Um, Now I'm not comparing myself to Claremont because he's a pro, he's amazing. I'm not saying I'm on his level, but stylistically, I think because of his influence, I write a lot like him in the sense that I write for the long game and I'm opening up plot threads as we go and introducing characters that you may not realize are somebody important till later. The
Yeah.
only thing I do that he didn't is I close some plot lines before I start opening up another 50. Um, so for me to do that, I do kind of fly by the seat of my pants because it has to have a natural, organic feel to it. Because if you really get uptight about it's got to be done here, it's got to be done there, that's why pacing is off in some books. Not because they're not good at writing, but because they would try to be so formulaic and stick to it's got to be dot 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 dot. I think that ruins the spontaneity of creating. I mean, that's like if you're an artist and someone drew the outline of the character and the pose for you and said, fill it in. Are you really going to give your best? I mean, you were held back a bit. You're like a writer that restricts the artist and tells them everything they have to do in a panel. Are you really going to get the best out of that artist? You got to let them flow, let them run, be creative.
Indies are free when it comes to some industry standards. I say that all the time. Yeah, that's the the beauty of being an independent artist.
What's up, Arelis?
Edis is in the house. Yes, hello.
Hey, Relish.
Yeah, no. So Phil, no, and I asked those questions because within your story there are you are opening up the world to many different characters. And for those who don't know, Tragedy is the story of this young girl who's an Irish assassin in Hell's Kitchen. But beyond that, she's a young girl who lost her dad at an early age and is raised by her dad's best friend, right? So tell us a little bit more about that dynamic and what led you to create a story about an orphan girl who grows up this way.
Well, first of all, I'm going to be 50 in a couple of weeks. I know it doesn't look it right with I look like a strapping 20-year-old, but regardless, I digress. Of my experience, I've never met a woman who realized how beautiful she was, how strong she was, how powerful she was. I've never have, and men pay for it all the time. But anyway, I'm just kidding. Um,
Just kidding,
and I wanted to write a female protagonist that I think we've started overcompensating in writing. Women weren't strong leaders of stories for a long time, right? So now that they're finally getting their due, they're overcompensating by not having to be challenged. Like they just conquer everything. And I think that's detrimental to what the true strength of a woman is because women go through a lot of stuff every day, every month, every year, whether it's monthly friend or childbirth or menopause or just all the self-doubt they have or all the pressures on them in society by even other women by how beautiful you need to look and then you have to have this appearance and I think the best way to be a hero is you have to be tested. And that means losing sometimes. You have to get your ass handed to you
Mhm.
so you can see what you're capable of. Am I able to get up and dust myself off? You know, that's why He-Man is kind of funny because he's never tested. He's always going to kick Skeletor's ass. He's going to cackle. He's going to run off into a portal or whatever. I didn't want that. I wanted you to read this book, see her, fall, and see her vulnerable. And I wanted you to relate because this is a character that she had a close bond with her father. Her mother, you'll find out, what happened to her mom, but he was the head of the Irish mafia, but he kept her away from that. And he would take her out. He made sure she was no part of it. And when she was little, they would go to the theater and they would get ice cream and they would be around the city. And she found her love for ballet, and he got her into ballet, and he was very supporting, a loving father. And he has his right hand man, Seamus, who helps him run, the Irish mafia in Manhattan. Her father is murdered. I mean, he's in a crime world. And Seamus adopts her because him and his wife Deirdre cannot have children. Deirdre adopted her because she wanted to have a child. Seamus is a sociopathic piece of garbage who found her to be this young thing that he can mold into his weapon. So at 16, he sent her away for 12 years. For 2 years, she trains with a military strategist and fighter. She learns firearms, explosives, grapple fighting, boxing, wrestling. For 10 years, she goes to a hidden Chinese temple, and she learns martial arts and bladed weapons and things like that. But what she also learns is to focus her chi. And there's this magical spiritual thing that goes on where if you have a focused chi is energy. Life is energy, right? Nature is energy. And you can bind your energy of your chi when it's focused with the energies of nature. And it brings out a latent ability in you, a characteristic that is close to you. I won't get any further into that. So the book one takes over 2 years after she's been at that monastery and she's been his assassin. And she knows what Seamus is. She hates him, but still needs and wants his love and respect because she's got a daddy issue. She lost her father, and she's lost anybody that ever cared, she cared about. And the more she wants and needs his love and affection, the more she hates herself for it. And she's living a life that she can't stand. How many of us are waking up to a job that is meaningless to us every day, and we just want to write comics, or we just want to do our podcasts, or whatever our passion is, music, art, and we wake up and the alarm goes off and we're like, I don't want to do this, man. My heart's not in this. Her strength is that she gets up every day and does what she has to do anyway. That's our strength. Every one of us, everyone watching, is doing something every day that doesn't bring them joy, but it's the ends to justify the means so that they can get to, they're working hard at what they really love. Problem is, she doesn't know if she even deserves a life to love, a good life. She doesn't even know how to get one. So she's guarded and she's shut down, she's shut off from people. And being an assassin, you kind of have to anyway, right? You've got to turn that human side off to be an assassin. So she's dealing with all these inner demons while she's dealing with rival mafia, metahumans, and there are going to be a lot of other surprises. This is like John Wick and the Boondock Saints meets Big Trouble in Little China.
There you go. Yeah, we were going to save that for the end, but good stuff, Phil. That's a great pitch. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China. I love that stuff.
I know. Yeah. So now, when obviously for those who maybe watched you on the show, and we'll put a pause here just to see what the guys are saying. You're on point about creating. I think we also have Jonathan was in the house saying hello. He's going to get Tragedy 4.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but what I was gonna she's got some beautiful beautiful covers, beautiful covers by her, absolutely. But what I was gonna say to you, Phil, was so when we first had you on the show, we didn't know how her father died. Now, if you picked up Tragedy number 3, the cat's out of the bag, so you know exactly what happens. I'm not gonna say because you may still want to pick that up in this 4th campaign. That plot twist, now that is going to open up a whole big can of worms. Is there anything you can tell us about what's going to happen in issue, say, number 4 from that big reveal that you have in issue 3?
So issue 4 deals with the aftermath of Grace O'Connor, who's the main character, um, discovering a truth about her father's death, and she's mad. And this is a redheaded Irish woman, so you know she's got a temper. And her sense of betrayal, um, it goes deeper than that. So she is going to handle that situation and that person. But the problem is, she's going to have to decide, am I the assassin or am I the hero? And it's got to be her choice. And you know what? We don't always make the right choice, but I ain't telling you what choice she makes. But and sometimes circumstance makes the choice for us. Um, so issue 5 is going to be a climactic ending to the first story arc, although there's other threads that are bleeding into the next group of stories. And it's powerful. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it because, that's the thing, man. Nobody's cut and dry. There is bad people do good things sometimes,
Rambo.
and good people do bad things sometimes.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we have who are the best heroes? The ones that I wouldn't even call her an anti-hero because she's pretty clear on what she doesn't want to do and what she needs to do. But a hero is a lot of things. A hero can be just facing your own demons, facing your own day, standing up when you just feel like curling up into the fetal position, pulling the covers over your head and saying, screw this, life sucks. That could be a hero. A hero could be selflessly taking care of somebody else and protecting someone else, a father, a mother, a brother, an uncle, a friend. And we're all of those things while being assholes.
Yeah.
Because
I
not
think,
one of us is above being an a-hole.
yeah. You know what I think though, Phil, with this character, especially with like Grace, for example, she, like you said, okay, the daddy issues and stuff like that. She kills for her father, for her stepdad or for her new dad, because she feels like she has to get his love. And she's constantly trying to get his
But they're
approval
also bad people that she's
and
killing.
Right, correct. So that's what she's doing. In other words, in her mind, it's like, this is what I do. You know what I mean? Like it's her thing. In issue number 3, we meet Michael Walker, who is another character that you added into the mix here. Now, Michael Walker, tell us a little bit about Michael Walker. Is he you? I know that Grace was based on your wife. Is Michael kind of like, is there you in that character?
If you talk to my wife, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to my wife, yes. And yeah, there's a lot in there. Like his family history is different than mine, with the exception of the physical beatings.
Right.
I guess you're right from what you know. There's a lot of that in me. I mean, I'm a big goofball and I'm a mush, but at the same time, I'm if I gotta throw, I gotta throw. You do what you gotta do. And that's going back to what we were talking about before about how they're overcompensating by putting men weaker and women stronger. I always felt the whole point of the man-woman dynamic is we both complement each other's strengths and weaknesses, because a woman will be stronger in an area than a man is, and vice versa. And that's why we go well together, because we complement each other and we lift each other up and we're there for each other. The strength is in the bond together. And if you look like a movie like Terminator, Reese, she would have been dead right away if Reese didn't come to help her. But at the same time, she was helping Reese and he loved her and he sacrificed himself and she wound up killing the Terminator as a team. And then she grew and got strong in the next movie and badass. And Michael Walker is the one that's going to teach her and show her what she's not wanting to see in herself. He is going to show her that she can have that life she wants if she goes and gets it and stops with the putting up the walls and the excuses and the BS. How many of us do that? How many of us are so focused on what we can't have that we're not living every day? We're just going through the motions, And Michael's the one that's going to put his foot in her rear end and remind her, of what her true strength is.
Yeah, that I was just gonna say that Grace is tried and true. She's well actually Phil puts her in situations that test the character, and and
And
and
by
you
the way,
know,
book 5, round two, with her boy from book 1, round 2.
all right, yes,
Ding, ding.
yes, I remember round one. No, but
And you can
very
spoil that.
very very true what you're saying, Phil. I think what's missing in some of the stories that you're talking about even now is there's no hero's journey. The hero has already arrived.
Right,
The
right.
hero's journey doesn't exist in a lot of the stuff that we're seeing today
I
because,
agree.
like you said, there is no struggle, right? And so everybody's just already, superhuman, and they didn't have to go through anything. And I think that what I like about the story is that she's going through a lot, a lot, and not just
And
her,
she
but a
goes
lot of
through
characters.
more.
A lot of characters do. There's a lot of pain in a lot of them. You know what I mean? Even in her mom, for example, like what she goes through. Suicidal thoughts and all these
Right.
things that happen within the story. So kudos to you, man, for putting all of that down on
Yeah,
in
because
in a,
her
in a
adopted
story.
mother Deirdre struggles with the guilt of letting her daughter become an assassin and live
Right.
this life. I mean, she's like, "What kind of mother am I? This is not what I wanted." But she was manipulated by Seamus, who's a sociopath. Yeah, I mean, sociopaths are very charming people.
Hmm.
They're very believable because one of the key traits of a sociopath is that they even start to believe their own lies. And there's nothing more convincing than someone who believes their lie is a truth.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what Seamus is. And Deirdre is waking up. But the problem is, it took the events of the end of book 1 to wake her up.
Right.
And you can spoil that if you want, because it's in the trailer. I mean,
Well, you know what,
Well,
Phil, what I appreciate about having you on the show and hearing you speak about your character, um, you are so connected with the history in each character, and it shows and it comes off as I'm sitting here listening to it. And we've had hundreds. And there's like 460 episodes now. We've had hundreds of guests, and one of the things that I think some of the guests are not as connected. And so I love you talk about because I can hear the passion. I can hear how
thank
much
you.
you've put in, and it goes to show why you've been so successful with your because it translates. And I think the reader bet from your commitment to that world that you built.
Thank
Sammy,
you.
your connection is a little weak, bro. I think
Yeah.
you're cutting in and out.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
No,
were
no,
like coming
I
in for
did hear
about
everything you said, and
yeah.
I really thank you. That was very a humbling compliment. I do appreciate that, and I really am passionate about this. I'm submersed in this world, and I wanna. I'm the kind of guy that if I don't like how something's being done, I'm not gonna bitch and cry about it. I'm gonna go do it the way I think it should be done. Now, that's not to say my way is the right way. It's the right way for me. I became an art rep because I wanted to see changes in that situation. I started my own conventions because I didn't like the way conventions were going. And I don't like the way comics are going. So I wrote my comic the way I wanted to. I wanted someone you can relate to. And the funny thing is, you can relate to many characters in this book. Joe and Tony, people love them.
Mhm.
You have villains you love to hate and villains you hate to love. And characters you can root for. When she falls, you fall with her. When she rises and you feel it like a Rocky movie, like you're gonna feel it. You're gonna be like, yeah, yeah, we lost that in movies, rooting for heroes like
Mhm.
Indiana Jones and Rocky and all that. We kind of lost that rooting for them. We get it once in a while, like when Captain America grabbed that hammer, people went nuts. I'm a cornball. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, I,
it's set up though. A lot of it is set up, and that's what we're missing. In a lot of movies, there's no setup. Like
right.
when you talk about Captain America grabbing that, mic, we saw that he could possibly move it a few movies ago when it moved on the table. So when he finally got it, it was like, yeah, he did it. Or like you're saying, Rocky, or like these people fail, and so when they succeed at the end of the movie, it means that much more because you saw them fail
Right.
before. You know what I mean? And
I
I think you
agree.
need that. That's important.
And the other thing, Anna's been very kind and supportive. I met her. She read the book. She loved it. She got the character right away and connected. And I appreciate that. Breath of the Dragon is the Chinese mafia's lead assassin. And here's a spoiler if you didn't read the books. Um, he wears armor and he's a relentless fighter. He's always on top of you, and an amazing martial artist and swordsman. And the reason why he has to be on top of you is he has an ability. He can read your future 3 to 5 seconds. So he knows what you're going to do before you do it. As long as he's in proximity of you, you can't tag him. You can't hit him. So Breath of the Dragon goes after the Italian mafia's head guy. His name is Tony. He's based on one of my friends of 30 years. He's 6'8" with a belly, but he's strong as hell. He's like a Luke Cage strength, and he's invulnerable. Breath of the Dragon has a fight with Tony, and Tony almost dies. And Tony starts facing his mortality, but more so, not just the fact that he realized, oh my God, I can die. It's, what the hell have I been doing with my life? I'm not leaving anything behind worth anything as a mob goon. What legacy am I leaving? What am I leaving, giving back to the world, doing this crap? So he's dealing with that. Well, the head of the Italian Mafia, Joe, based on another friend of mine, he had an abusive childhood where he was treated like he was a nothing and a nobody. And him building this empire is him proving to himself that they were wrong. He's a somebody. He's not a clear villain, but he's doing bad things.
Right.
And they have their journey.
Villains being glorified. We're not supposed to like villains.
Absolutely. I agree. It's like the villain has become the hero.
Yeah, but we can't love them like Joker.
No, but here's the thing. When I say the villains you like, it's because they're not really villains. There's redemption in this book. There's redemption in this story. We all have gone astray at some point in our life, even if it was for 5 minutes, losing our temper and punching somebody out or whatever. We've all done villainous things. What makes you a villain is if that's just your true nature, what your plan is every day that you get up. But there are good people that aren't heroes yet, and they do villainous things, but second chances come around. And that happens here. And then there are some villains that, no, they're just bad. And there's a villain. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Phil. There's a villain that what?
That is introduced in book 1 and book 2 and book 3, but you really don't know how bad he is yet. Mm-hmm. And you're about to find out in the beginning of book 4. He is, you're gonna be like, whoa.
Yeah. No, you know what, Phil? Like, I think that when it comes to writing a villain, I like the fact that Phil is making the criminal. What do you say? The criminal understand that it's time to make a change. Yeah. No, I think that what happens is people are starting to sympathize with the villain rather than just empathize. And what I mean by empathize is you have to understand what his motives are, and everything he does it because he thinks it's right. But we shouldn't sympathize with him. We shouldn't, you know what I mean? We should be like, nah, man, you shouldn't do that. And I think a lot, like today, even with the Joker, and Michael brought it up, I ain't like the Joker movie. I don't want to sympathize with the Joker. I like the fact that the Joker's just a psycho. I like to hate the Joker. I love the way you see it. The world thing. There you go.
You're supposed to be creeped out. You're supposed to be creeped out by the Joker, not laughing with him.
No.
But we've been desensitized. You know how many times I've seen a movie, a kid get beat up or something, and people are laughing, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So just so you know, Breath of the Dragon appears to be a villain in this book 1. This story is almost as much his as it is hers. Breath of the Dragon, he stabs her and throws her off a roof, and she's left for dead. And in book 2, she's not in it, and everybody was like, "You son of a bitch! How do you do that to us? You stab her and throw her off a roof at the end of book 1, she's dead, and you're like, you don't even tell us what's going on in book 2 until the last page." Breath of the Dragon is going to go through his own trials and tribulations, and you're starting to see more about him in books 3 and 4 while we're going into what happens, the aftermath of tragedy, or Grace's defeat. And you're going to see a lot about him. But in him finding himself, you're going to see another true villain. And this villain has abilities that you're going to find out in the beginning of book 4. And the way you find out is pretty cool. And then in chapter 5, Grace is pissed. She's like, this bastard stabbed me and threw me off a roof. Let's go. We're doing this again. And right after Breath of the Dragon is hurt in a fight with this villain in book 5, he walks out to find Tragedy, and she's pissed, and let's go. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but I will tell you this. One thing I always hated, and like the last Spider-Man movie is a perfect example. The middle scene where the Green Goblin shows his true colors and he beats the living hell out of Spider-Man was great. And then all of a sudden, Spider-Man beats him easily at the end of the movie. I hate that. Because guess what? If I had a fight with Sam and Sam just had a longer reach and he knew how to box or whatever and Sam was kicking my butt, just because I felt inspired and the montage music came on, I don't get to beat Sam. Sam's still going to kick my ass. That's the way it is. You know, you need years to learn how to fight and get better if I'm going to come back and try to beat Sam. That's just reality. You don't get to just beat up anybody you want because you're the hero. It doesn't always work that way.
Yeah.
It evolves, not as straightforward, as simple as it once was. There's a lot of gray areas. Yeah, I hate the gray areas, though. That's the part of it I hate.
Well, here's the thing about the gray area. It depends.
If you're doing gray area, jokes.
if you're doing gray area to make you sympathize and agree with the villain, that's where we've gone. But if you do gray area to make you understand that he thinks he's the hero of the story, that's different. You know, I mean, the best villains think they're the hero.
Yeah.
Right.
That's their motivation. They're still bad, and you shouldn't root for them, but they think they're the hero, and they think you're the one who's wrong.
That's why Darth Vader in the original trilogy was so good, because he thought he was doing the right thing the whole time. You know what I mean?
But he was being manipulated, and that's something that goes on in this book. Mm-hmm. There are manipulators. There are people behind the scenes that are manipulating, and you don't realize it, you know, and you're going to realize it. You already realized, like you said, there's a reveal in book 3 of one of the manipulators, and that's going to be dealt with by chapter 5. By the end of book 5, that'll be resolved. And I think I'm excited for it. I mean, there's a lot of action in this book too. It's not just exposition. I have 9-page fights. I hate when comics do the 1-page 5-panel fight and it's over. It's like, come on, man. What are we wearing? What do we have superpowers and spandex for if we're just going to do that? Tea and crumpets? Come on. What the hell are you wearing that costume for? Let's fight.
Let's fight.
Let's put him up.
Come on. Put him up. I mean, book 1 starts with a 4-page fight scene. There's a middle 4-page fight scene, and then there's a 9-page fight scene to end it. There's enough exposition, but there's also fighting. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Travel safe.
Yeah, safe flight.
What's happening?
Vegas Con. I'm going to be there too. And
you're going this weekend, right? Right, Phil?
It's next weekend. Vegas is next weekend.
Someone grabbed my tail.
Come on. But I'm sorry. I know I talk a lot. I go up, but I really am passionate about this. I'm passionate about all the things I'm writing. If you knew what Withered was about, I think you'd be like, wow, Withered has a villain nobody's ever done before.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah. No, Phil, you have a whole bunch of stuff coming down the pike that I would definitely love to have you to come back and talk about that. And for those who are watching, obviously we're talking to Phil Russertt. We're talking about his book Tragedy that's on Kickstarter right now. I'm sure you have a catch-up tier, right, Phil? For the book there?
Yes, books 1 through 3. Now, I didn't do any individual issue you may have missed. So what I would tell you is if, say, you had 1 and 2, but you just happen to miss 3, if you add $15 into the donation area and in your survey, just remind me you want book 3, we'll include it in your fulfillment.
Cool. Awesome.
We don't do international because shipping is outrageous, but if it's worth it to you and say you live overseas, reach out to me, Facebook DM or the messaging service on Kickstarter. I always get back to everybody and ask me and I'll find out what the shipping is. If it's worth it to you, then we'll do it. If not, PDFs. You can get all 4 PDFs for $24. And I'm telling you now, you heard the page count on my books. It's 96 pages or more.
I'm on book 5.
Yeah.
Michael, it's always extra.
Dude, book 5 is coming out in November, December.
Nice.
We're not playing. Not playing.
No, you're not. No, you're not, man. Good for you, Phil. Listen, you've had great success with this book. The numbers are getting better. Hopefully you knock it out the park with this one. Now, listen, I know you have 26 issues written. Do you see an end to the story? Are you working towards a final issue or no?
I know what the ending is going to be of the whole series, but I'm going to write until I have nothing else to say. I'm not going to, like, if the series ever was really successful, I promise I'm not going to milk it with crap writing just because I want to keep making money. It needs to maintain its quality and its integrity. And once I don't have anything good to say anymore, I'm done. And I will wrap it up with it, whether it's 75 issues or 120 issues. I think another problem is books are they're going beyond, they're jumping the shark. I don't want to jump the shark, you know? So when it's done, it's done. I'll know when it's done by just writing. It was all a dream. Actually, the ending was the first thing I came up with. And I think it's a good ending because, like, how many shows have we watched and loved and the ending made you go, oh, what the man? Like Breaking Bad had a great ending. You know, that was satisfying. Justified, great ending, satisfying. So I want to do the same when the time comes.
There you go.
And at that stage where we're going to give you the screen and you're going to deliver your pitch and, you know, and then tell everybody how they can find you on social media as well. So we'll go for it.
All right. So I told you what Tragedy is about. I'm not going to rehash that. The short pitch is if you took the Boondock Saints and John Wick and you mixed it with Big Trouble in Little China, that's just touching the surface of what you've got here. But I'm just going to tell you now, Howard Mackey and Chuck Dixon, 2 major writers in Marvel DC, said the book is well written, and that was enough for me if I never sell another book. But I ask you, forego your Starbucks cup of coffee this week with your name spelled wrong, or your Happy Meal that's clogging your arteries, or whatever it is that you spend on, and give the book a shot. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. And if you are, you've got toilet paper for a week or 2. You might have a little coloring on your butt, but whatever. But I think the book is worth it. I really believe in it. My passion is behind it. I'm writing a story that I believe is quality. We have an amazing artist, Ricardo Silva. We have DC and Marvel colorist Chris Sotomayor doing interiors, and we have letterer Jason Meadows. And I really believe this book is solid. And I tell you what, prove me wrong by buying the book, reading it, and tell me. I'm not afraid of criticism, but I just want you to give it a chance. I know you're buying trust in me. Trust that your money's not being wasted on a bad writer. You're not. Put your trust in me. Give it a shot. It may actually become that book that you look forward to reading. You may even feel that magic again that you used to have on a Wednesday. Give it a shot. Tragedy 4 on Kickstarter right now with catch-up tiers 1 through 3 and original art commission tiers by Ricardo Silva. Check it out.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for coming back on Cast Craze.
Wishing Wonder Duck and There's an Alien in My Toilet success. Great books by great guys. Honestly, I really love you guys. You're my favorite podcast to be a guest on. You know, even though it was a year ago.
Wow. Over a year ago. It was over a year ago.
And you're really good people that can break bread at my home any day. So
sweet, man. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. Hey, good luck next week in Vegas.
Thank you. And I got 50 illegitimate kids to feed, so buy a book.
Wow. The real reason.
Dude, we did $13,000 on the last campaign, and we opened with 10,000, 10,000, and 13,000. Can we get to 15? Because I promise you, every dollar goes back into the book. You didn't buy me a truck. You didn't buy me a new comic book. You didn't buy me a toy or dinner. It goes right back into giving you the best books possible.
Yeah, no, they're coming fast and furious, Phil. So good job, good luck, and dude, thank you for coming on, man. You know you're always welcome back.
You got it, brother.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, my brother. Take care.
You too.
So again, it's Tragedy. It's chat So hit that link. It's also in the summary. So you have to get to the Kickstarter. Can I hire Hill to sell my?
Yo, for real, bro. Did you guys pledge yet? Yo,
Yes,
Sammy, your connection is crazy bad. You having storms
Is
over
it?
there? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? How about now?
I hear you, but you're mad pixelated. And you're
Pixelated.
Breaking Bad, the GOAT. Things make you go, Johnny throwing shade. I'll be honest with you. I agree with Johnny. I'm not a big Breaking Bad dude. I actually like Better Call Saul better, to be honest.
Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I
saw a couple of episodes of Better Call Saul, and I was like, all right, I'm moving on.
No,
I'm going back to watch The Witcher.
Witcher. No, you like listen. The Lord of the Rings is Friday. You're gonna miss that one, but Johnny,
Friday, you're not gonna miss it.
What happened?
It's the Lord of the Rings on Friday. You're
not? I thought you were gonna be out.
Yeah, we are. But when we're back in the room is going.
I'm telling you, she's a saint. She's a saint. Freaking 25-year anniversary. She's gonna spend it Friday night watching freaking elves. I freaking love it.
I'm gonna dress up as an elf.
Wow, enough. TMI.
Just spice it up.
Peace. He says spice it up. He's gonna wear fake freaking feet. You're gonna be a hobbit. Oh, this is disgusting. Poor Des, man. Poor Des.
Fine.
Oh my God.
Oh man. But no. So what? I'm gonna have me some fun.
Oh man, dude, we can't even hear you, bro. We're gonna have to sign off. Nah, man.
What's up with this thing? How about now?
Nah, man. You look at you. You're frozen right now. You're laughing though. There you go. You're back. All right, we're gonna have to sign off, Sammy. Yeah, no, this is bad.
The Elvish. But yeah, so get you to the sponsor podcast. And thank you for this tonight. And thank you for the 104 people who have signed up for the campaign for There's Nail in My Toilet. The link is in the chat as well. There is no morning brew tomorrow morning. Back next week. And next week we have more fantastic. I'm back with the morning brew next Thursday. Dude, nothing beats the Sandman. The Sandman puts me to sleep, but every time he I'm like,
nah, that's a good show. But to reiterate what Sam was saying, make sure you sign up. Thank you to all 123 people have signed up to your campaign because you didn't really come in too well. Make sure you sign up to the campaign for There's an Alien in My Toilet. Sign up today. It launches September 20th at 7:30 p.m. Be here. We're going to be live. Make sure you're here. It's going to launch at 8 p.m. But get here a little early. House of Dragons is dope. Every section in Texas. Check out San Tornado. The Wizard of Oz references are coming back to haunt you. Word. Internet says stop it, bro. Yes, but thank you so much for tuning in, guys. There is no show tomorrow morning, but there is a show on Friday. So make sure you check it out on Friday. We do have a new guest. I can't remember. I think it might be Paul Gomez. I'm not 100% sure. But Sammy, say goodbye.
With that said, can you hear me, you sons of anarchy? With that said, I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Dreamer Medina.
And it's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, it's talking about my friend Acquiesce.
Say my name,
right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
he described me. He said, I'm the
what? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.